searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless. A sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. 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 Yeah, I just wanna be.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the One Pride Podcast. We took all things Detroit Lions news and rumors, and before we got the game tomorrow night, we got a special guest here to give his perspective. Give a shout out right now to our special guest, the man, the myth, the legend, Jamaal Thomas. What's going on, man?
What up, though, Mike? How you doing, bro?
Hey, doing great. Tell the folks where they can find your channel, the type of content that you rock.
Yeah, so my channel is called No Name Podcast. You can find me on YouTube. Also do another sports show. If you just like sports in general and just love talking about sports, IOW Sports Network, that's also on YouTube. So you can check us out there. And we talk everything Detroit Lions on No Name Podcast and everything sports on IOW Sports.
And we love everything Detroit Lions, man. We love it.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we do here. It is finally our year in the state of Detroit, but it's your time right now. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe button. Subscribe to his channel. I'll have the information in the description. I'm going to pin the comment on there so you already can get to it. You go to it, click, subscribe. A friend of mine, I was on their show. They come on mine because we love Detroit no matter what, man. I'm repping it right here. Red Wings all day, every day.
Man.
The D, man.
Everything Detroit, bro.
That's right.
Everything
That's
Detroit.
right. So you've been a Lions fan and a Detroit fan for a really long time. You know, what is the difference, what you see right now with the Detroit Lions than you have seen in the past?
I think it starts with organization, man. If you look at the past, the Lions organization in the past has been booty cheeks. I mean, from the top down, you see how the Fords ran it. Everybody wanted them to sell the team. And then the coach they hired, I mean, you can go back to Wayne Fontes. Likeable guy, but he didn't do well with the team. Then Mining Waterwig and all so forth and so forth as you go down. It's just the way the organization is ran. It just feels different from the top down. And then you add the talent that they have. So I think it goes beyond just the talent, but I think it's the organization, period. That's what made me buy in. The organization made me buy in.
And look, you know, watching Sheila Ford Hamp all the way down your right, Dan Campbell, Spielman, this thing is on lock. It is repped from the very top. They're doing a really good job, you know, running this thing like a business and a franchise. What do you think of Dan Campbell? You know, the kneecap biter himself, cannibal. You know, what do you think about Dan?
You know what, Mike? When they first hired him, and he did all the kneecap stuff and all that stuff. You know, you kind of like, let me look and see what this gonna be because you used to seeing what how the Lions was running in the past. But as it went on, you begin to like the guy first, and I think that's what makes you really, go to this team because Dan Campbell's a likable guy. And then you see what they did at the end of last year, how they started to come on. He got the team to buy in. Now he got the fans to buy in. I think Dan's a great coach, man. I think we have a good coach in Dan. And you can't mention Dan without mentioning Brad Holmes. It's like they're a pair. And that's what I like about him.
100%. Brad Holmes, best general manager I can even remember. And this guy is striking gold on all his draft picks. Undrafted rookies as well. He knows talent. What is the difference between him than maybe Millenhue and the past general managers like Bob Quinn?
let me speak more to Bob Quinn because that's more recent in your mind. I think Brad Holmes is more approachable. Brad Holmes seems like he cares about the players. I mean, it's a business, so you can't, what I'm saying, you can't go without saying it's a business. You're gonna have to cut people and all that stuff. But even when they're cutting, and you watch them on God, I can't think of the show. The show that's on last year. I don't know why I can't think of the name of it.
Hard Knocks.
Thank you. You get this age, you forget things. It's on Hard Knocks, and you just see how when they cut people, even the compassion that was shown and the players received it well. I think that's a special type of person who can do things business wise and still understand that there's a compassion that goes with it. And so I think as a general manager, and compared to what the last regime was, it's compassion. You see how Patricia and all of them ran it like you was just a commodity. And, we don't care nothing about you. They cut all the great players that we had. We had a decent, some decent players before they came in and cut players. So I think the compassion and showing that, hey, yeah, this is a business, but we still can be a family. We still can be someone that you can come and draw more talent. Look, now people want to play with Detroit. You hearing people now, I want to come to Detroit and see what this is about. I think it started with Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell.
Everybody in the comment section, grade Brad Holmes, A, B, C, D, or F, because I'm going to ask right now to my man Jamaal, what grade do you have for Brad Holmes? I got to go A+. I'm so it's not even homer drinking. This guy just nails the draft. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
I agree, man. I think no one's gonna be 100%. So you can mention a few players there, here and there, and we don't know what if he's gonna do this year. If it's gonna make the team, but in general, I think you gotta give him an A+ because he picked. Let's look at this draft. He got players that you didn't like. Look at Gibbs. People complained about Gibbs. Now you see what Gibbs is doing.
Yep.
Brian Branch. How did he get Brian Branch to fall into his lap? I think that, and now you look at what he's doing now. I was looking at a couple of articles on Detroit.com, and it's showing what he's doing in the practice. Brian Branch, he's balling out.
Absolutely.
Second round pick, balling out. So you have to give Brad Holmes an A. You can't. I mean, I don't see how you get anything less than that. Because anyone who does that don't understand football. Anyone who does that gives them less than that just want to be a hater. Because no one is 100%. No one. You can go down the line. No picks are 100%. But in general, most of his pick hits. And now look at Aidan Hutchinson. He was in the run-up for Rookie of the Year. You can argue and say he could have got it. I'm not mad at Sauce getting it because Sauce balled out too. But if you look at now, Brian Branch is in the talk for Rookie of the Year. These are two grab picks in a row that is hitting on Rookie of the Year. So how can you not give him A+?
I agree. I mean, it's insane that he fell that way. Just absolutely ludicrous. It was so great. I was just talking about that today. Mm-hmm. We got one of the best players in the draft in the second round who's going to be used all over this defense. And I think he'll be our starting safety, and it's not a bad thing towards Tracy Walker, but he's so good. You have to have him on the field. He's fast.
But you know what, Mike?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I mean cut you off, but going to what you said, is having Tracy Walker as a backup a bad thing?
No.
That's still a good thing.
That's a great thing.
How many teams you can say has a great player like Tracy Walker to back up another player? So it's still great. I mean, any way you look at it, any way you slice it, if he doesn't start and he backs up Tracy Walker or Tracy Walker backs him up, it's still a good situation.
It's a good situation. Just great. Right. And then you just look through all the draft with so many players whom he got it undrafted in late rounds. You got Malcolm Rodriguez, 6th round. Really good pick. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 4th round. Mm-hmm. Jerry Jacobs, undrafted. Sterling Thomas, who is undrafted, and Stephen Gilmore, undrafted. These guys may be part of the team. Well, we know Jerry is going to be part of the team, but those two maybe as well. And then you got Rock Wright, tight end. You got James Mitchell, 5th round, who's going to be a big part of this team. And they go into this draft, even though we have great depth, and they get a starter at the running back, starter at linebacker, starter at tight end, and starter at safety. Your first 4 picks are starters. Unbelievable.
Right. All right, man. I'm excited, man. I'm excited about what the organization is doing. I'm excited what the team can do. I'm excited about the potential. I think that No, I think now I'm not gonna say Super Bowl, but if they make, I won't be surprised. But I'm not gonna say Super Bowl. But my thing is, if you look at what they have now, and let's just do the NFC. If you put them against the NFC, yeah, I still put the Eagles up there. The 49ers I'll put up there, but they still shaky at quarterback. They still shaky at quarterback. And I think you look at the players and you match all the players up, our players against every players in the NFC. I don't see who can match up with us. I think we are combo to every team in the NFC. So I'm excited to see. I mean, you got to play the game to see what happens, but I'm excited about it.
Last year, we came close to beating the Philadelphia Eagles, who went to the Super Bowl. We came close to beating the Seattle Seahawks, who was a playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
We beat the New York Giants, who was a playoff team. We were 5-1 in the division. The Lions are a good football team, and I think it's going to be a shock to Lions haters out there. I think anyone that's really paying attention, it's not much of a shock.
Right.
But to all the haters out there, I think it's going to be a shock. What do you think about these rumors that Julian Okwara potentially could be traded within a week?
Here's my thing about Julian. I think he's a great player, but he's not a consistent player. And I know some people feel that we should keep him. My thing is, it goes back to the thing I said earlier. It's still a business. Yeah, you got to show compassion, but still a business. And if you can get draft capital or a better player for him, you deepen in defensive alignment. You deep. So I think that if you get rid of him, you won't be hurting because you still have so many other players that can step in and take that role. And if you get another player, for instance, offensive line player that you may need backup, or if you get draft capital for, man, what do they get another first-round draft pick for next year? You know, they should be they are rolling, and with not only that, but they're rolling with the picks they already have, and then get a first-round draft pick or a third-round draft pick. Because the way Brad Holmes picked a third round like a first round of him. So
I know.
I think I'm trading Julian. I mean, you know, I hate to see him go in some ways because I kind of like the guy, but at the same time, it's a business. And if you can get something for him, all right. You know, I'm not mad at it.
I'm with you. We're here with Jamel Thomas here. Tell the people where they can find your channel, where they can subscribe. We're going to keep doing it because I want you guys to gain a bunch of subscribers repping Detroit.
Yes, sir. So if you go over to YouTube, you can find us on YouTube, No Name Podcast. It's under the IOW network. So we have a network like Chat Sports and everything else. We just not as big as them. And you can find the No Name Podcast. And I'm also on Twitter under Detroit Mail. And I'm on IG. I'm everywhere. But if you want to subscribe, hit the like button, subscribe to this show also, and also to my show on the IOW Sports.
So here, we're the NFL season is about to begin, just a couple weeks away till Lions at Kansas City. What do you think about this game? Lions versus Kansas City. Who wins?
I'm excited, Mike.
Tell me.
It's going to be a close game. I mean, my mind want to say Detroit because I'm a Detroit fan. Kansas City is a tough matchup. I'm going to say this before I give you my prediction. I'll say this. This is a good litmus test to see what we really have. Because when you talk about the NFL and you talk about, you know, great teams, Kansas City is the gold standard right now. So if you match up well and if you beat them, then you know what you got. If you play them close, you know what you got. If you don't play them close, you know you got to go back to the drawing board. So I'm going to say this. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to come down to a defensive play on our defense, and we win the game probably like 35-28.
Ooh, close game. I'm really excited for this game. I got Lions in the upside. I had the Lions in the upside. I think they're going to come in there, and I don't know if they're going to know what they're going to do with Jahmyr Gibbs. I think the defense is going to be all over the field and getting some turnovers, doing some fits. I have a major upset here. What do you have for a record prediction for the Lions whole season? How many wins? How many losses? Do they win the NFC North? Do they host a playoff game?
I got to win the North for sure. I don't think that Minnesota they had a fire sale over there in Minnesota, so they don't have nobody. Those close games they won last year, you're not going to get that this year. I think that Jordan Love we don't know what he's going to be. Packers still have a good defense, but I still think we're better than them. When they had, quote unquote, the greatest quarterback to play the game, we beat them twice. And then Chicago's up and coming, but still with Justin Fields, the passes I see him throwing, there were a lot of little short passes. I haven't really seen him air it out yet and consistently do it. So I think we will dominate the NFC North. Record-wise, if you look at our first 5 games, if we come out of that looking good, I can see us winning 11 games easily.
Here in a couple hours, folks, at 4 p.m., we got Robert Porcher on Lions Nation Unite. We're going to talk Detroit Lions with him. What does he think of Dan Campbell? What does he think about the Lions season? But before you go, again, shout out your channel. Shout out where they can find you, your Twitter, social media, Facebook, all of that lovely stuff. Yeah,
so as IOW Sports, if you go to IOW Sports, you'll see No Name Podcast on there. Also on Twitter, I'm under Detroit Mail and IOW Sports. And we also have a Facebook page for everybody. So if you just want to just shout out your page, it's there. That's what it's for. It's a networking page. So if you go on Facebook, look on IOW Sports Network. Anybody can get on it. Anybody. We got a lot of wrestling pages on there. So and we talk sports. So if you love talking sports and chopping up about sports, go to that Facebook page.
We're going to keep going with the One Pride podcast, but again, appreciate you coming on. And let me talk to you. Yeah, LA Knight up in here. With that said, man, let's keep going. I'll talk to you a little bit.
All right, thanks, Mike.
All right, bye. And we continue on here with some Lions. Well, it's NFL news that does affect our Detroit Lions, and that is that Isaiah Simmons was traded to the New York Giants. Why does that affect the Detroit Lions? Because the New York Giants were in consideration of trading for Julian Okwara, but I think with the trade of Isaiah Simmons for a 7th-round pick, that may take him off the board for Julian Okwara. Can you believe that Isaiah Simmons, I mean, that draft was a booty cheeks draft. Think about this. In this draft, you had Isaiah Simmons, Chase Young, Jeff Okudah. Oh, my goodness. Talk about a not a great draft right there. It looks like you got players like Trey Lance potentially could get traded. My goodness. My goodness. Yeah, Arizona is going for broke. They are definitely looking to tank this year, and I think that's exactly what's on mark for them. But having Julian Okwara traded, well, it looks like that, at least in my opinion, the Giants are off that train. So we'll see what the Lions could get. But if Isaiah Simmons is going for a 7th-round pick, you'd have to think Julian Okwara may not get anything. Like, Isaiah Simmons, seriously, was a 1st-round pick. So you're getting a player who's a 1st-round pick on a 5th-year deal. And for a 7th-round pick, what a crade. What a crater of a draft right there, folks. So, we're going to get into it right now. Lions and Carolina Panthers. Maybe Ant-Man will get on here in a minute, so we'll see what he's got to say. But what do I want to see from Lions versus Panthers? I don't want to see injuries. The starters are not going to play except for selected starters. So we'll have selected starters play, like a Jack Campbell. He's going to get in there. Now, he's not a quote-unquote unofficial starter, but let's keep it real here. He's going to do it. I'm sure he'll have plenty of time. Maybe Sam Laporta gets in there and gets some time there. But obviously, the offensive line, can anybody stand out versus the Carolina Panthers, the backup offensive line, that is? Anybody stand out? Right now, nobody's talking to us when it comes to that backup role. We got a lot to go in there. The kicking position, can we get some field goals here? Can we get Romo and Patterson to see who's going to get that role? Because we really don't know. The very backup cornerback positions, the last 2 positions, will it be Will Harris? Will it be Sterling Thomas? Will it be Stephen Gilmore? Will it be Chase Lucas? What's going to go on with those 4 individuals there? So we'll be watching that tomorrow night. Can they how can they deal with a mobile quarterback in Bryce Young? Bryce Young is going to get some playing time in there, so that's going to be really fun to see. Let's get to 50 likes. We're at 44 right now, so 6 more will get us to 5-0. Go ahead and smash that like button. Let's get to 50 likes in this bad boy. How the Lions can the Lions defense continue to be good? Now they kind of failed the second half of or the fourth quarter of last week, but with no offense and them being on the field the whole time, you know, I kind of give it a pass right there. Plus, we're talking about third/fourth stringers. So can the Lions defense continue to be pretty strong? That will be good to watch here. Who's going to come out in the run game? Craig Reynolds, I don't think he's on the chopping block, so he should probably get the start at the running back position just because he's the third guy. Will Jamar Jefferson, will Snell battle it out to see who gets that number 4 spot? Jason Kabinda as well. We'll see how that one plays out. Who do you want to see for the Lions' 4th string running back? Snell, Jefferson, Kabinda, somebody else? Who would you want to see? To me, I would like to see Snell. I think he has a little bit higher upside, but that's just me. That's personally. Maybe you completely disagree and you think I'm full of S. That is fine. Also, at 4 o'clock, we're going to be live with Robert Porcher on Lions Nation. I'm going to talk to the Lions great there. What does he think of Dan Campbell? What does he think of the Detroit Lions this season? Can the Lions make the playoffs from his perspective? Somebody who's did it at an extremely high level. Hurricane says he wants to see Jefferson in there make it. Don Burr says Snell. Don the Goat Burr, he says, I smell Snell making it. How about the wide receiver position? I think a lot of people are going to say Chase Cota. That's who I would like to see. Chase Cota, Antoine Green. I want to see a little more Antoine Green. I think he's got some special play to him for sure. We got a $2 super chat from Curtis, Detroit. James Houston going to be beast mode for this defense. Thank you so much for that $2 super. You are a real one. Like Lions fan one Paulie LFB says Jahmyr Gibbs under 10 touchdowns for me. Over. I think he'll be under 10 touchdowns. I think that's a lot to ask for him. For sure. Eagles are trying to unload Swift. Are you serious? Did not hear that. That would be an interesting move where we trade Swift and then they trade Swift. Where would he go if that occurs? Could he be on the 3rd team in 1 year? That would kind of tell you that there's issues going on with the guy. Maybe he'll get traded to the Carolina Panthers. He could be reunited with Deuce. Let's see, Chase Lucas. You want to see that individual get in there and get it done? I could see, like, I don't mind Chase Lucas. Don't mind the guy at all. And hopefully he definitely has an odds to make the roster. It's definitely not out of the realm of possibility for him. And that's just the way that it is. Grandizer says, growl out at the top of your lungs. That would be for tomorrow's game tomorrow night, and it's gonna be a late one. 8 p.m. is when it starts, so I'll be live at 7:30 breaking it down for y'all. Be a long night for sure. They want to trade for Jonathan Taylor. Who wants to trade for Jonathan Taylor? Heard it on Woodward this morning that the Eagles are trying to get rid of him. So I don't know if it's true or not. That's just a rumor floating around, but I didn't see it. But I'll take your word for it. It wouldn't shock me at all. What's up, OG Mike? Thank you so much. Torque Home Run Slamming Dork Grand. Appreciate you. If you got questions, put it in the comment section. Write me out. Let's go ahead and do the mailbag segment just a couple minutes earlier than we generally do. Would love to see it. So if you got questions, throw it in the comment section. Question about preseason. Questions about anything. Will we pick up Marquand McCall? I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. Let's see this one. Our tour of the rumor is Gainwell is already going to be their RB1, so it would make sense to play for JT, for Jonathan Taylor, trying to get the big-time running back over there. That would be, look, if they got Jonathan Taylor, that would be pretty damn good for that football team from the Indianapolis Colts. That would be cray-cray. We got my man Ant-Man on there. Ant-Man, thoughts of Simmons getting traded to the Giants for a 7th-round pick?
It's crazy, isn't it? How bad a draft is that turning out to be?
The worst draft ever?
guys in the top 10 just going for 5th round picks, 7th round picks, and we're only a few years into the career. So, yeah, I mean, that could be a steal for the Giants. I mean, there's nothing but upside for that move, really, is there? If he hits, you're probably going to get, like, the value of a top 2 pick, top 2-day pick. If he doesn't, hell, you wasted a throwaway pick. Who cares? But, I mean, Giants could be building something. That defense is good, and he feels like a guy who you've got to get in the right scheme. And when he gets in the right scheme, he'll flourish. And maybe it's in New York. Who knows?
Well, Julian Okwara was potentially being traded to the New York Giants. I don't see that happening now with the trade of Isaiah Simmons. So who knows if we trade Okwara at this point or if he gets traded. So do you think that Okwara gets traded?
Yeah, and I'm on board now.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but I said I need to see consistency from you during the preseason. And I know he had the one sack that was chalked off because of the penalty, but outside of that, he was back to being his usual inconsistent self again. And I'm not buying into one good performance anymore. I need multiple good performances. I mean, you saw what Kamish did in the same game, just making play after play after play off the edge, doing so well. I'm like, yeah, that's what you got to do. Kamish shouldn't even be in there having plays in preseason, but he's grinding, he's putting the work in, he's done. If you can get anything for Julian at this point, I would take it without a shadow of a doubt.
Do you think the Bears trade for Jonathan Taylor? I say no. What do you say?
I think they could, but, it'd be hilarious because they say they're rebuilding, they're doing it the right way, but you're going to spend $100 million on 2 linebackers, then you're going to pay the boat out for a running back. That's not how you successfully build a team. You will run out of cap very quickly, and their D-line's still nowhere near finished. The O-line's still nowhere near finished. The place where you're going to have to really pay money. I would be delighted if they did.
I don't think they do, just because they're in that rebuild process, and generally it's through the draft. Do you think Gibbs can get 1,000 yards as a receiver from Michael Boyd, Ant-Man? What do you think?
Not as a receiver. I think he can clock 1,500 yards plus combined, but not in a single discipline.
Yeah, I don't think that he can get 1,000 yards a receiver. That would be asking quite a bit. People are saying Lions Taylor to Miami, I think. I guess that could be a possibility. I don't know. Who ends up being the kicker? I'm going to go with, as Ant-Man had some issues right there, I'm going to go with Riley Patterson. That's who I think is going to be the kicker for the Detroit Lions, Mr. Patterson himself. But right now, it could be a coin toss. What do you think?
See, I'm entirely invested in Romo, simply so I can use the Romo Cop moniker all season. But I don't know. I just want the most consistent guy. Just whoever's been through camp, whoever's looked better, go with him. Romo seems to be the better guy at long distance, Riley at shorter distance, but you kind of need a guy who can do both, really. So I don't know who I'm leaning towards at the minute. It'll have to be a last-minute thing. Hopefully, we kick a few more field goals and points this week than we did last week to give them an opportunity to show what they can do. Because last week, we didn't really need kickers. We didn't need anything, really, on offense. It was crazy bad.
Who is our wide receiver, too? I'll probably just go with Khalif Raymond right now. I think he potentially could be that wide receiver, too. Really, this depends who Jared Goff throws the football to, and we really don't know because we haven't even seen any of the first-string offense, but I'll just go ahead and go with Khalif Raymond at this point until J-Mo comes back, and hopefully they work him in, and he gets time there. Do you think that the Lions are going to win against the Chiefs without being biased? I do think the Lions come in and do a sneak win. I do. That's what I got. 32-28, Detroit Lions win. That's what I have. You may think it's biased. That's fine, but I don't know. I just got a sneaky suspicion that they do. What do you got, Amen?
No, as much as I really, really want to, I just don't see it happening. I think it'll be close. I think we'll play really well. I'm more interested in week 2, but I don't know.
Hashtag Lions, will we see Goff play at least one drive tomorrow, final preseason game? I mean, the Chiefs played Mahomes for a drive last week, and he doesn't need reps. I don't think they are. I don't think they're playing Goff at all. So I think you're going to see Teddy Bridgewater in there. and that's what we're going to see. What do you got? What do you think?
I want to see them. I've always been a proponent that you've got to put your guys out there to get rhythm with them, because these 5 games, the first 5 for us, will make or kill our season. And I do not want to hear in the Chiefs game, we're a little rusty. We're not quite there yet. Things are coming together, but we're just not getting that end product. We cannot afford that this year against the Chiefs, the Panthers, the Seahawks, any of those. We need to come out firing, and I would at least like them to get some form of continuity together, because that first snap against the Chiefs will be the first time they've played together since the Packers game back in January. And I just don't think it's right to not have them out there at all. I want at least a little bit out there, because I am not going to accept a slow start this year. I am going to be very, very critical of this team if they do not start off well. And by sitting them all throughout the preseason, I don't like it. I would like to see them for at least a little bit. Yeah.
No Chris Jones for the Chiefs is an absolutely advantage for the Lions. He's just a damn good lineman for them. He would be, look, if you don't have one of the best DTs in the game, that is an advantage for the Lions' offensive line, no doubt, and it's an advantage for Jared Goff. Disadvantage for the Kansas City Chiefs. For sure, that's not even a question. $20 super chat, Mike McCall. Thank you so much, Mike McCall. Hashtag FGB, I want to keep the young guys, Thomas, Green, Cota, and Gilmore. We have veterans in front of them and let them develop them for the future. Your thoughts? Thank you so much for that $20 super. You are absolutely a real one. I agree. I would like to have Thomas, Green, Cota, and Gilmore on this team. Why not have some of these young studs? Hell yeah. I feel like the upside's a little bit higher. What do you think, Ant-Man?
Yeah, I agree. I think they've pretty much all worked their way onto this team. And you're talking about the depth receiver guys. Cota is top of the pile at the minute. I'd like to see him get a lot of snaps this weekend, see how much he can deal with the bigger snap load. And Starling Thomas and Stephon Gilmore have earned their way in at corner. I think, they should be challenging some of these depth guys like Will and, people I don't think are as good and aren't going to give us as much going forward. We know what we're getting from these free agency guys, undrafted free agency guys. They're going to be tough. They're going to battle. They're going to give you a lot more than what you think you've got for them. So I would like to take them as well. And I think they should unseat some of the guys above them who've had their chance and not taken it.
Huge shout out to Mike McCall. Really do appreciate it, my guy. $20 super. Show him some love in the comments below. How many games does kicking special teams cost us this year? Ooh, that's a great question. Oh, man. I'll go with one game. It costs us one game. I'll go with one. I could see where we miss a field goal and that's it. Like, we lose the game. What do you got, man?
To be honest, I don't see them costing us a game. I mean, I think our special teams is actually really good outside of kicker. The punter's one of the best in the league. You saw in week 2, one of the few good things we did was return the ball really well. The blocking's good. The runners are good. That part of the game's good. It's just the kicking, and I think the kicking's perfectly serviceable. So I don't think it costs us any.
Is Laporta the number 1 tight end or Mitchell? I'm going to go with Sam Laporta is going to be the number 1 tight end for sure, even though I love what James Mitchell has done so far in preseason. I think he could have a breakout season. I really do. I'm loving what I'm seeing from James Mitchell. But at the end of the day, I think Sam Laporta is going to be that tight end number 1, but you're going to see a ton of James Mitchell. Remember, when we did have TJ Hutchinson, they were throwing it to Brock Wright. And last year after that, they were throwing it to Shane Zylstra, Brock Wright. I mean, it was kind of getting thrown around there. Jared Goff likes to spread it. What do you think?
I don't think we have a tight end 1, and I don't think we're going to operate with a tight end 1. I don't think our system requires it. I think Mitchell, Laporta, Wright are all going to be used scheme specifically, certain situations. I think there's a position for them all here. It's not going to be like George Kittle or Travis Kelce who take every single snap at tight end. I think they'll work tight end by committee. We did last year, and it worked just fine, and I think it'll work just fine this year.
Sweet. Hashtag FGB. And Aaron Rodgers, I agree with you 100%. Hashtag F those guys. Who's the biggest threat? Kelce, Scott. I'm going to go with Kelce right here just because I love what we've done with the linebacking group, but I'm still a little bit, I got to see it to believe it type of deal. So I have no problem, but I'll stay with Travis Kelce. He's a beast. Who do you got is the biggest threat?
Of course it's Kelce. He's the chain mover. He's the third down guy. He's the guy who the offense revolves around. You shut him down, then you shut down a big part of what they're about. It's like teams with us. If you can shut Amon-Ra down, you shut down the chain mover. You've got to get the guy who gets those catches, and he's that guy. So, yeah, absolutely. He's the biggest danger.
For sure. Mike Rowe, do you think that we can stop Justin Fields? No, I don't think you can stop Justin Fields. He's going to run the football. I think we can do a better job than we did last year, which was booty cheeks. In the passing game, yes, I think we could stop him. In the run game, he's going to get his. What do you got, Ant-Man?
Yeah, I think we can stop him. Absolutely. I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback in this league. I don't think he will be, even if he fulfills his potential. I think because we've been that bad against dual threat quarterbacks, we've elevated him higher than what his capability is. I think we can deal with him. We saw last year, what was the problems we had? Tackling was an issue. Well, we've seen with the guys we've got in the draft, we've seen this year the tackling is much better. And it's also pass rushing, creating opportunities for your secondary to go up and get picks. And we got picks with the likes of Okudah in that this year. What the hell do you think we're going to do with Gardner-Johnson and Branch and Kirby a full season in? I think we'll do just fine with him this year, and I don't believe in their trenches to protect him either.
What is the best way for the Lions to contain Travis Kelce from K-Man? How about this? Brian Branch. I think he could be somebody that can help out in containing of Travis Kelce. He's fast. He wants to kind of play that linebacking role. I think you're going to see him all over the defense. Use Brian Branch. I trust him. And I do trust Jack Campbell, too, with his size. But let's switch it up with a little bit of Brian Branch. What do you got?
Use a crowbar on his knee. That'll keep him silent for most of the game.
Crowbar is always the best way to contain it. Right to the kneecap. Same with Patrick Mahomes, folks. Do you think Chase Cota is going to start this season because 1 or 4 of our tight ends getting injured? No, I don't see that being the case. If he makes the team, it's probably wide receiver 6. Like, we're talking about way end of the depth chart, and there's a lot of pieces the Lions have. Jahmyr Gibbs, the tight ends, the wide receivers itself. It seems extremely unlikely. We'd have to have, like, a string of injuries for that to occur, and that would be bad for the Lions, but if that happened. Let's see. Where will we rank or stand in the NFC? I got us 4th. So you could do Philadelphia Eagles, San Francisco 49ers. I'll put the Lions ahead of the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to go Lions at 3. That's where I got it right now. I still like those two teams there with the 49ers and Philadelphia Eagles. I do like the Seattle Seahawks as well. Seattle could be right there with the Lions, and same with the Dallas Cowboys. What do you got?
I've got us at about 3 or 4. I've got us somewhere interchangeable with the Seahawks because, they did just beat us last year. They are sort of the barometer we're looking to aim at. But, I mean, their entire rookie class is injured. I think they said they've only got 4 of their 10 picks from the draft who are healthy right now. So they're having a big problem at the minute. So they might struggle going into the year. So we could do better. I think we're around 3rd or 4th, me personally.
We have 67 likes with 220 in the building. Let's get to 75 likes. The closer we get to 100, the closer you all get that Ultra combo. How many games will the Lions win when the Lions aren't favored? I don't even know how many games they're favored or not. I couldn't tell you right now. I don't know. And it all changes, too. If the Lions win week 1, that favored is going to change for every other game. So I'm not even going to put an answer to that because I have no idea. What do you got for an answer for that one?
I believe I read they're favored in 12 games this year. So you've got 5 outside, which they won't. I think it's the Chargers away, Baltimore away, Kansas City away, Minnesota away, and Dallas away. So they're all road games that we're not favored in. So, I mean, I would fancy us to go and beat at least 1 or 2 of those. Maybe the Cowgirls, maybe the Chargers, because their offense is good, but the defense is always a bit funny. So I'd put us at maybe 2 wins in games that we are not favored in on the road.
Seattle did beat us, Dale. They did beat us last year, so Geno sucked his entire career except for last season, but you got to go with what they did last year. I'm not going to go about what he did for the New York Jets. The Jets are a different beast. I mean, look at Russell Wilson over there for Seattle. He did good. When he went to Denver, he looked like butt cheeks. So I still think Seattle, and they drafted really, really well. They probably win their division. I don't have a doubt in that. Do you think J-Mo is going to get injured again this season after the special? I sure as hell hope not. Good God, that would suck. You can't you can't do it. You can't do it. You got to stay healthy. You better stay healthy. Come on, man. We need to see him out there. Let me talk to you. Okay? Stay healthy. What seed will we be in the playoffs? I'll go with the 3rd seed for the NFC. I'll go with seed 3. The Lions win the NFC North. That's what I got. What do you got?
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same. 3 seeds, I think, is what you're aiming for.
Yep. Let's see. 11 or 12 is pretty consistent. I heard the Njigba kid got hurt. Did not hear about it. So you heard that?
Njigba's injured. Yeah, that's what I said. Only 4 of their 10 draft picks are healthy right now. A lot of their draft picks are down hurt, which is going to be big because they're not getting training camp. They're not getting any of this time they need to prepare. So I think that in terms of the new guys, they are in a spot of bother. And Jigba's out for 4 weeks. He's going to be touch and go for the game against us, which is how long he's potentially out for.
My man Grandizer says 20 more likes to 100. Let's get to 100. We get to 100, we're going to get that Ultra Combo.
Combo breaker!
See, who do you think we are going to face if we make the playoffs? That is so difficult. So it'd have to be a wild card team would have to come here. How about the New York Giants? The Giants come to Detroit because they're a wild card team, and it's going to be hard to win the East. Really hard to win the East. So it could be the Giants, maybe like the Rams. That's a possibility too. So who would be another wild card team? Could be the Cowboys. Could be the Cowboys. Out of those teams. How about New Orleans Saints? They could probably sneak into the playoffs too. They just may win their division though. That's kind of a weak division, but those would probably be the teams that you would look at. So I'll just go ahead and go with Giants. What do you got?
I would pick a team from the NFC South. So I would say maybe Panthers, someone like that. Panthers or Falcons, I think would be my pick.
The Falcons. That would be interesting. Desmond
They've got
Ridder,
a team apart from
Bijan
Ridder.
Robinson. Yeah,
they've got a really good team. If Ridder's even just serviceable, that is a playoff team that they have there.
Oh, well, we'll see. The Vikings too. The Vikings potentially could. I think they'll be in that 9-win range, 9 area. So that's a possibility. Like that's where you think of the wild cards around that 9-10 win range. So that is a possibility. Hopefully not. I don't want to play. I honestly don't want to play him the 3rd time. Like, let's do a different game. I'm tired of. Like, you face the NFC North teams all the damn time. I'd write something a little bit different. Even though we know that Kirk Cousins is not great in the spotlight, so I guess that'd be a big advantage for the Lions. And he would have a tough time in Detroit. I think he'd have a real tough time. Gibbs outperforms Bijan, runner of Offensive Rookie of the Year. Let's see. What do you think? Do you think that Bijan gets outperformed by Jahmyr Gibbs?
I think Gibbs can threaten Kamara's rookie record. So, yeah, I do. I think the possibility is there for him to do so because I think we'll run the ball a lot. And if we can run the ball a lot, it doesn't matter if Monty gets his 1,000 yards as usual. Gibbs will get a ton. So, yeah, I think he absolutely can. Because don't forget, Bijan's in a rotation with Tyler Algier as well. So, and he had 1,000 yards last year. So I don't think he's just going to get every carry week in, week out.
I'm nervous about the wide receiver room. Do we draft a wide receiver depending how the season goes? Yeah, I think they'll probably draft a wide receiver at some point in the next draft. That looks like a position that maybe offensive lineman. It could be a defensive tackle. You know, it all depends who leaves in free agency as well. We don't really know at this point, so And when it comes to the draft, you kind of see what they do in free agency. But just looking at right now, I think wide receiver depth at the offensive line, those are two positions they definitely could look at. Potential secondary if some of these players go, like C.J. Gardner-Johnson or Tracy Walker or something like that. That's a possibility. What do you got? You're already kind of looking at some of these college players. What do you think the Lions need?
I don't know yet. I mean, obviously I do it, early anyhow, but wide receiver it depends, because if J-Mo comes back and plays really well, then you've got J-Mo and amon-ra. They're your two weapons for the future, so you don't need to spend big on a wide receiver.
No, not big, no.
And you've got the depth pieces. So for me, where I'm looking at the minute predominantly is offensive line. It just all depends what happens with that right guard spot, because I'm still big on keeping Sauce still outside, not inside. So that's where my look is at the minute. But again, so much can change during this year. I'm actually looking forward to this being the year where I'm not thinking about the draft come November. I'm going to wait until the end of December this year, because we're just that good in the NFL.
I'll be talking about the draft by week 4. So slowly but surely, it's just something that I do regardless of the Lions' record. I like to get off it complete bandwagon until that time, because you just do it so much. That's all you do in the offseason is draft 24/7. And so it's like nice to just get your brain off it for a while. I'm nervous about the wide receiver room. Oh, I already did that one. Let's see. Hashtag, would you trade Tracy Walker for a wide receiver? No, I wouldn't trade Tracy Walker for a wide receiver. It's not that you think Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, it's not that Tracy Walker's bad. It's just the fact that they're really damn good. And so what if there is an injury? What if C.J. Gardner-Johnson goes down? What if Kirby goes down? What if we have an injury to Brian Branch, and then you got Tracy Walker that can come in? I want to have a team that's really good at the depth. That's just my personal preference. That's what I got. I don't make don't take a chance on it. What do you think?
I wouldn't trade a player. I'd trade picks for a wide receiver, and I'm going to will this into existence. But Mike Evans is out of contract next year, and he turns this team into a bona fide NFC #1 contender if you put him on this team. And if the Bucs suck and they're tanking and they want picks, I would give a lot to have him on this team. Could you imagine him, Jameson, and amon-ra? You've got one of the best wide receiver cores in the NFC, and there'd not be a damn thing anyone could do to stop him. So I would trade for one, but I'm not giving away players. I'm building up my roster, not depleting it.
240 in the building with 92 likes. We are 8 away from the magical 100. We will do an ultra combo. What would you give up for a Mike Evans? Because I'm curious. You've been talking about it forever. What would be the capital you give up to get him as a wide receiver here?
I'd give up some day 2 picks for him, multiple ones, quite happily. Even if it's just for 2 or 3 years, what he brings to your team is something we don't have, which is a guy who will command all the attention in the building on the outside, who will flourish in the system, because you can't leave amon-ra on his own. You can't leave J-Mo one-on-one on his own. You're bringing him in a system where he will be able to eat. I would give up multiple day 2 picks for him, and I wouldn't think twice about it. I honestly do think he takes you right over the edge in terms of getting towards the Super Bowl.
You think that team's going to suck by the trade deadline, too. Well, let's keep it. I think they're going to suck. Yeah. I think Tampa Bay is going to take a step back and a half. So it's very possible. We just hit 100 likes.
Oh, my God.
Here we go.
Ultra combo breaker.
One more.
Ultra combo breaker.
Shout out to you guys to getting that bad boy to 100 likes. Absolutely love it. It's always a celebration to get to that 100. Thank you so much, guys, for hitting it. It really does help the channel out. It does push the content out there. You guys are a real one. Hashtag FGB, knock on wood. We have managed to stay fairly healthy so far. Do you think it's because the way DC and the staff are going about the preseason? You're right. We have stayed relatively healthy this far. I think Dan Campbell, not playing the starters in preseason negates it, but it could be because of the strength and conditioning coach. I don't really know exactly what it is, but we haven't had a real major injury. Emmanuel Mosley looks like he's coming back, so that's huge. What do you take away from this? Because we haven't been that injured this year.
I think we've been very lucky so far because we've had 8 players waived with injury so far. I think they're testing them really hard. You are seeing a lot of these periphery guys get hurt because they can't deal with the intense nature of what we require from them. And yes, not having the starters in preseason helps, but they are doing intense scrimmages. We've had multiple joint scrimmages, which are just as dangerous. A lot of teams only have one. We've had 2. So I just want to. I think it's more down to the guys they've got in, the mentality they've got. I don't think they've run a camp for nothing. Because, like I say, we've waived 8 players, which is a lot to waive with injury and injury payouts, settlements, etc. A lot of guys been getting hurt. So I think it's testament to how well they've done with these guys. No, we're keeping the main guys healthy. Yeah, I will take that.
I take that all day. Look, you get all these other dudes who are hurt. Not the main guys, not our starters. We don't need no Big V going down. We don't need no Sewell. So my amon-ra, we don't need none of that. We definitely don't need no Jared Goff going down. That would. And I love that Jahmyr Gibbs has been staying healthy. Something that we ain't used to seeing because the DeAndre Swift was always hurt. So it's good to see he's still trucking along, and you haven't heard anything about it. The guy could take a beating, so I love it. And same with David Montgomery. Now he's dinged up for OTAs in minicamp, but been fine in training camp. Do you think we should make a big trade before the season starts? I don't think they're going to make a big trade before the season starts at all. If there's a trade, it'd be trade away like Julian Okwara. That's not a big trade. You're talking like a conditional 7th or something. Do you think that they make a big trade? Honestly.
No, I think you wait till the deadline and you see what you've got this season. I think if you are... especially after these first 5 games, if we're 4-1, 3-2, and then we win a few of the cupcake games after that, and we're really above 500 and look like we're threatening, then I go and make the big trade and push us over the threshold to get there. Until we are, there is always the possibility that something goes wrong, we struggle, and then we take ourselves, because at the minute, we're in a very good cap situation. We're fine with draft picks. We've not overextended. We've not gone beyond our reach. We're in a nice position right now. I think you've just got to wait till you're in the season and you see how it's unfolding before you make that big move, which may upset that balance otherwise.
Tell the people where they can find your channel, where Roar of the Lions UK, everything about what you got going on there.
So yeah, as Mike says, you can find us at Roar of the Lions UK. We are a group of Detroit Lions fans from over the pond in good old Blighty, as it were. We do go live on Mondays. We're live on Wednesdays. I do a college football show. We will be live during the season on Thursdays doing previews for the games. Mondays we do game reviews. And we're also live during the games as well, like Mike does. So if you want to pop in and say hi to us, then please do. We're a good bunch, and we like to think we know what we're doing. So, yeah, you can find us at Roar of the Lions UK. But obviously, check out the gold standard like Mike first before you come to us.
4 p.m., Robert Porsche and Lions Nation Night. We're going to talk to him about Dan Campbell. We're going to talk about the Detroit Lions 2023. What does he think about this football team? He's going to talk about some personal stuff. We're going to have a great time. Make sure, again, you subscribe to Roar of the Lions UK. They are the gold standard. I am just here to help them out and shout their channel out. With that said, folks, adios.
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it, and I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be.